afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 2:31. Karen, could you please read the cable statement?
Yes. The meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Cable Television Commission is cablecast live on Metro Cable 14, the local government's channel on Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and the AT&T Uverse cable systems. This meeting is closed captioned and will be webcast at www.sacmetrocable.tv, and we will replay on Saturday, October 5th at noon, and Sunday, October 6th at 2 p.m. on Metro Cable 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board should fill out a speaker ID form located at the podium and hand it to the clerk, please.
Thank you, Karen. Could you please do the roll call?
Chair Detrick,
Here.
Vice Chair Hedges,
Here.
Bryant, Polo, Riley,
Here.
Reed,
Here.
Natoli, Schmidt,
Here.
Nava, Middleton,
Here.
and Gatewood.
Here.
We have a quorum, sir.
Excellent. And I invite Commissioner Middleton to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now, can we go to the next item, please?
Next item is agenda item number 1, conference with legal counsel.
Okay, and we're going to adjourn, or do you want to start before we adjourn, Harriet?
Well, actually, we're going to postpone that to later.
My understanding that we were going to postpone this to later in the agenda so that Supervisor Natoli would be able to join us.
Okay, so
If that's okay with the
is
rest of the
all the
board.
rest of the commissioners okay with that? Okay, we'll do that. So then we'll go to, we'll postpone that and go to item 2. Oh, well, speaking of the reason for the postponement is now here, I think we can adjourn to closed session.
That sounds perfect.
Perfect timing, Mr. Natoli.
Could have been 5 seconds earlier.
Okay, we're ready to resume. We're back from closed session, and we don't have anything to report. So, Karen, can we go to the next item, please?
Agenda item number 2 is resolution number 2019-010, adopting the fiscal year 2019-20 final general fund budget, and resolution number 2019-011, adopting the fiscal year 2019-20 final PEG fee fund budget.
Okay, I'm Bob Davison, Executive Director, and I do want to point out that there's a revised staff report on the dais, and as I discuss this item, I'll be referring to the revised staff report. I do want to apologize for having a revised staff report. We try to get the staff reports as accurate as we can when we submit them to you. In this case, there were certain changes that need to be made. A little bit complicated, but I'll try to explain them. And so we find it necessary to prepare the revised staff report. So with that, I want to refer you to page 2, where there's a table regarding the changes from proposed budget to the final budget for the general fund. And this table is not every item in the budget, but it highlights the items that have changed. And items highlighted in red are items that are revised and that are different from the staff report that was sent to you earlier. So before I discuss I'm just going to go through the table, but before I go through the table, I'm going to give you a little bit of background. It gets a little bit complicated with accounting issues and such, so I'll do my best to describe it succinctly. This goes back to last year's final budget. At that time, we told you that from the previous audit of the commission that there were certain audit adjustments that needed to be made. The auditor for the commission created several journal vouchers that needed to be processed in order to true up accounts that were actually off-budget accounts, things like fixed assets and such, and how they were depreciated, and the net effect of all these audit adjustments was it was going to be a negative on the commission's fund balance of about $447,000. Now, so we knew about that came out of the audit. We discussed that with your commission at the final budget last year. In actuality, we went through the fiscal year. We got to the end of the year. By adjusting the adjusted fund balance with all of our actuals, and then the carry forward fund balance that went into this year's budget, it actually, with that adjustment, it came out exactly. So in other words, the audit adjustments that were being recommended, they actually didn't get posted till the end of the fiscal year, just because there were some complications. We had to meet with the auditor, we had to meet with county staff and such to sort some things out. But they did get posted prior to the end of the fiscal year. And with that, the fund balance that carried forward into the next year matched when you took out that $447,000 deduct. So anyway, we had planned carefully for that adjustment that was going to hit. Well, something else happened that was a little bit of a surprise. Like I said, that carry forward fund balance was exactly what we thought it would be, and so we were pretty satisfied with that. And as we were preparing this, the final budget, we noticed that commission's reserves got hit for about $290,000. And that was a surprise because typically, and this is off budget, so it's not in the budget other than the reserves are released or used, and those are in the budget if there's going to be a release or an add to the reserve. This board for the general fund has given us a target of increasing that commission reserve to about $1.5 million. And at the end of last year, we were at about $1.3 million. So we're getting close to our target. And in fact, with our proposed budget, we have $150,000 in the proposed budget for this year, and that would have brought us to within $50,000 of that target. So anyway, as we're preparing this, we did see that there was a release of reserves of $290,000, which surprised us, given the circumstances I just relayed to you. When we prepared the staff report, and because it happened at the same time of all these audit adjustments, we made the assumption that the audit adjustments somehow resulted in the $290,000 being released from the commission reserve. So in the staff report that we drafted and sent to you, we showed, and we actually had some extra carry forward for things that weren't spent last year, so we had a little bit of capacity to do so, but we showed an additional $290,000 to feed back into the reserve to correct that. Well, in the meantime, and we actually had meetings this week with our auditor and with county staff, we learned that there were these postings that hit the reserve, and they actually hit the PEG fund reserve too. Those were postings that were in error. They shouldn't have happened, and I think the reason they were made is because our accounts are at the county, but our auditors are not the county. We get audited every 2 years, and our auditor gives us the right information so that we can do these audit adjustments just like the ones that we did. So what happened is that the county, I think, looked at our investment in fixed assets and saw that they were way different than what was on the books, which was zero or close to zero, and they were zero because the books were with the commission, not with the county. And so they released about $290,000 of our general fund reserve, and actually it worked in reverse for our PEG fund. I won't get into that complication, but it actually increased the PEG fund reserve by $400,000. And so with that, at the end of these meetings we decided that rather than using our budget this year to put the money back into the reserves, that simply we were going to request that the county post corrections to reverse those accounting journal vouchers that created this issue. So with that, that's kind of a short explanation that I wanted to give you before I dove into how we've changed the budget and what revisions happened since what was sent to you. If there's any questions on that, I can take that now or just go right into it.
So any questions right now for Bob?
Okay. So anyway, I'll just go down the table. The first change is interest. We made more interest, which is good. Interest rates are finally getting to the point where you're actually seeing more significant amounts than we were for the past many years. So there's about a $75,000 increase in interest. Salaries and benefits are reduced, and adjustments are made due to the fact that our technical coordinator has retired, and we're going to fill that position, but we haven't filled it yet, so there will be some savings there. We don't need as much as we expected at a preliminary budget. And then there's just a minor adjustment in film supplies, business travel, and employee transportation. Legal services, and this was an oversight and an error on our part. We had this in the budget, but I think our spreadsheet did not include it in the total, so we inadvertently left the $200,000 that we normally budget for legal services in the budget, so we need to make sure that's back in there because that's certainly an important component of our budget. A little minor change in software, equipment rental, and parking charges. And contract services. These are the funding that we provide to the channel licensees. And if you recall, at proposed budget, the SCCC requested an additional position for $70,000, and the board directed that we adjust our budget to include the funding of that position. So that's why that line item changed. And then we get to member agency distribution, and at proposed budget we were showing about $9 million, and but we already had the direction to reduce it to pay the $70,000 for the SECC position. Other changes to the budget would have reduced that member agency distribution by $114,000. But since we are no longer recommending that the $290,000 be put back into the reserve, that goes back into our budget, and actually the member agency revenue distribution ends up being a positive from what we were proposing at proposed budget, and that's $9,200,000 roughly. And then with that, the final item, and what I spent a lot of time explaining prior to looking at the table, is reserves. And we had, in the previous staff report, proposed $440,000, and because of what I explained, it's back to the $150,000 that we had at preliminary budget. So with that, that's the change to the general fund. So now I'm going to refer you to the table on the next page, and fortunately it's a much shorter table. And also I want to point out is because the impact of the reversal of those journal vouchers, while it did affect the PEG fund reserves, there was no effect on the budget. So we hadn't proposed, because that error was the other way, we ended up with more money. We weren't sure what we were going to do about that yet, but we didn't need to release that money back, so we left that in, and now that audit correction will go forward, and our reserve will be taken down to the level of where we expected it. So with that, these are this table shows the changes to the PEG fund budget from proposed budget to final budget. We did include a few more line items from the previous staff report that we thought weren't changes, but warranted maybe a little bit of explanation. So first of all, the member agencies equipment, this is the control room equipment and chambers equipment that the member agencies request. And this just went up a little bit because there was a correction to Rancho Cordova's PEG fee funding request. And so with that correction, that line item increases a bit. Support services, this is the PEG money that goes to the channel licensees. And there's a reduction here, and it has to do with BestNet. As you know, the commission supported BestNet through multiple phases for a significant amount of dollars over several years. And also, I think you know, monies for BestNet have carried over from one year to the next, you know, to the point where at proposed budgets, we still had about 900, how much do we have? $985,000 in this year's budget to, it was for BestNet, but there was a revised BestNet proposal presented by SCCC at last year's budget meeting that the remaining BestNet school sites would be served by E-rate rather than BestNet. And with that, the money was not spent last year. It rolled over into this year's budget. But now we've just received a final invoice from SMCTC for BestNet / E-rate, and that was about $700,000. And we were also told by SMCTC that this will be the final E-rate BestNet from the BestNet monies, and that there will be no more call on this money. So with that, there's a $284,000 reduction for that line item in the budget, and that's what that's why there's a change in the support services line item. I should point out that also as part of this item that there's a revised agreement with the SMCTC that also shows this reduction. And they're on board with this. This was their request. It's not a surprise to them. The other changes, Metro Cable projects changed just a bit. And then, so with that, there was a little bit of extra money. I think it proposed, in our previous staff report, we showed some money going into contingencies. We had a calculation error, so the number had to be revised, but we're also recommending that it increase reserves rather than go into contingency. So with that, those are the changes to the PEG fund budget between proposed budget and final budget, and I can answer any questions, additional questions that you have on this item.
Any questions for Bob? Okay, well, open public comment, and we have one person signed up, Jerry Jones. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you. Good evening, or good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jerry Jones, and I serve as the Vice Chair of the Sacramento Educational Cable Consortium Board, and I'm also the Executive Director of Technology Services for the Sacramento County Office of Education. And I wanted to come and, on behalf of all of the school districts in Sacramento County, personally thank you for supporting BestNet over the many years, and especially for helping fund this last phase of the BestNet construction and build out of the network. BestNet has been an amazing resource to the 250,000 students who attend school in Sacramento County over the past 15 years. And the Sacramento County Office of Education has been a proud partner of SMCTC as we manage and support this lightning-fast network on behalf of the Sacramento County schools. Not only has BestNet ensured our students, teachers, and administrators have the bandwidth needed to provide the 21st century learning opportunities and support in our classrooms, it has also fostered an environment of teamwork amongst the district technology leaders, which has helped us work together to solve technology challenges and problems that we're all faced with on a regular basis. BestNet has also allowed the Sacramento County Office of Education to provide 100 gigabits of network connectivity to our school districts. And that makes it one of the fastest educational networks in California. We are truly the envy of other counties that don't have a network like this. I also wanted to take this opportunity to let you know how encouraged we are by the forward momentum that we've been seeing with the BestNet renewal language with Comcast. BestNet has become a critical resource to our students and districts, and we are hoping everything can be finalized by the December meeting to ensure this critical resource will continue to be available to our Sacramento County students for the next 14 years and beyond. Thank you again for your continued support over the years. We really appreciate it. And then if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer
Anybody
them.
have any questions for Jerry? Jerry, thank you for coming down, and not everybody's as diligent about coming to give thank yous as they are for criticism, so it's much appreciated.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure. Thank you so
you.
much. Thanks.
I think everybody up here can understand that very well. Okay, so we'll close public comment. Is there any, I have no one signed up to speak on the commission. Is there anybody who'd like to ask a question or make a comment?
Move the resolution, Mr. Chair, with the modifications as outlined in the amended staff report that was presented verbally by Bob and is read into the record.
Okay,
Second.
we have a motion and a second. Please vote on screen. And Karen, the tabulation is?
It passes.
Perfect,
Unanimous. Thank you.
perfect. Thank you. Next item.
Next item is agenda item number 3, resolution number 2019-0113, approving the revised technical coordinator job description.
Okay, thank you, Karen. As this board's aware, we've had a recent retirement of our technical coordinator, and with that, we want to begin the recruiting process for that position. But one thing we know of is that the current job description was prepared in 1998, so it does not really match what the position would actually do. We had hired a consultant, CPS consultants, to do a classification and comp study. As part of that, they interviewed staff and they prepared updated job descriptions. We hadn't brought all those descriptions to the board yet, but seeing that we're going out on this recruitment, we thought we should bring the technical coordinator updated job description to the board and have that approved prior to the recruitment, so that we have that job description that matches more closely what we're recruiting for. So with that, I recommend you adopt the resolution approving the technical coordinator job description.
Okay. So we'll open public comment and close it since we have no one signed up to speak. Commission deliberation. Any comments or questions from Bob? Okay. So do we have someone to make a motion to adopt resolution number 2019-013?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, we've got a motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Please vote on screen.
And that's a unanimous yes. Thank you very much.
Unanimous 9-0 again. Very good. Next item, please.
Item number 4 is the calendar year 2020 quarterly board meeting schedule.
This is a receive and file for the board meeting schedule for next year, based on commission past practice and policy. We have dates scheduled for March 5th, June 4th, September 3rd, and December 3rd in 2020. And of course, as always, if we have no items, we can cancel the meetings, prior to, prior to them happening anyway.
Okay,
So with that, it's a receive and a file item.
Receive and file. Anybody got a question for Bob? Okay, thank you. Next item.
Item number 5 is general administration report.
Okay, I have 4 items on the administration report. The first item is the FCC in-kind proceeding. And the first thing is I want to point out that previously we entered into an agreement with a coalition that we're participating in a coalition with Best and Krieger, with many other municipalities who are sharing in the what do you call it? The
cost of doing this, right? It's a coalition that's paying for the legal fees and expert fees necessary to defend the public agency's positions in the FCC proceeding and now in court.
So with that, I just wanted to report out that we had already participated in the first coalition, and now that the FCC in-kind order is effective as of September 24th, there's a secondary coalition that Harriet will explain the details of in a second, but I just wanted to report to you that I entered into that agreement, and per my delegated authority, I'm required to report that at the next commission meeting. And with that, Harriet has an update on the FCC in-kind order.
Right. So I just thought I would do a fairly quick summary of what has been going on at the FCC and what's in the process of being challenged now in court. So a while ago, the FCC, at the request of the cable operators, started a proceeding which is loosely called the in-kind proceeding. You know that you get revenue from the cable operators. You get a 5% of gross revenues franchise fee, and then in addition to that, under the state franchise, you get 1% of gross revenues, which is the PEG fee, which you have used for PEG equipment and capital expenditures. And then the cable operators also provide the 7 channels that we use, return lines, so fiber lines that take like the signal from this building back to their head end. They do a fair number of things like that that are not included in the 5% franchise fee. So this proceeding was designed to figure out whether or not some or all of these in-kind expenditures that the cable operators make are eligible to be deducted from the 5%. So for example, if the cable operator paid $100 to fix the return line, could they then deduct that from the franchise fee that you get every year? Right. And so this decision came out a while ago, and what the FCC said was, yes, you can deduct certain in-kind contributions from the franchise fee. So they said you cannot deduct certain long-term capital expenditures because they found that the Telecommunications Act said that those were above not included in the franchise fee. But things like short-term expenditures, extra customer service requirements, maintenance on certain items, there's a whole laundry list of items that cable operators can now deduct the value of from the franchise fee. And one of the reasons we became so involved in this is because one of the issues that was before the FCC was, can the cable operator charge us for the value of our PIG channels? In this order, the FCC did not reach that issue, but they will be starting an additional part of their proceeding to again address whether or not they can charge for the channel capacity that we have always had as part of our franchise. So the things that the FCC did say was that if there is an in-kind contribution that can be charged, the cable operator can charge fair market value for that contribution. So not their cost, but fair market value. They did provide for, they did say that if you don't go back, if the operators and the governmental entities don't go back and amend their franchises to account for that, the FCC would come back and preempt those issues. They also said that to the extent that an operator had a cable franchise, local agencies could not regulate or add additional regulation to cable facilities that were used for both cable and other services like telephone or internet. So they preempted the ability to separately regulate mixed-use services. So everything that goes over the cable system is subject to the 5%, and additional regulation was either prohibited or became a cost item, depending on what it was. So the good news in the order was it's prospective only, and so it doesn't reach back in time to expenditures that were made prior to the date of the order. So for example, BestNet, which is an institutional network, if we were to build BestNet in the future and require the cable operator to build that, that would be deducted from the franchise fee at fair market value. But because BestNet is completed, and it was completed under the old rules, they cannot come back and try to get the value of that back from the commission now. So the first phase of this proceeding has now been completed, and there's as Bob said, there's a consortium of public agencies from across the country who have filed in the Ninth Circuit and in the Sixth Circuit as of now, challenging the FCC's authority to make these kinds of orders, whether they're consistent with the acts that they act under, because this is a significant change from the way the law has been interpreted for the last 25 or 30 years. So whether they can, whether they have the authority, whether they can, whether preemption is whether they're able to preempt in the way they said, the way in which they defined what is in kind or not in kind, all those kinds of things will be challenged in this new lawsuit, which is the lawsuit that the commission just joined as part of the consortium. And then we're waiting and monitoring for when the next phase of this comes out, which will be the PEG channel capacity issue. And we'll keep you abreast of that as well. If, depending on how that issue comes out, there could be a significant impact to the way you do business or the costs or the amount of franchise fees that you get. So at that, I think I'd stop there, and if anybody has any questions, I'm glad to answer them.
Any questions for Harriet? Okay. Next item.
Item 2, I just want to recognize Mary. Can you please stand up? Mary Tao Anacleto. We've promoted Mary from her senior office position to the ASO1 position. We've had that position open for a while, and Mary's been with us for how many years now? 6 years.
Wow.
And just every year has really advanced in her skills and is a perfect match for being in the ASO1 position. So I just wanted to let you know that and congratulate Mary for the promotion.
Congratulations.
I could bring her to the podium if you want to ask her any questions.
You get a round of applause, though. How's that?
We can have a round of applause, absolutely.
So item 3 is quarterly meetings for the remainder of the calendar year 2019, and that would be one meeting, and it's in the first Thursday in December, which Karen probably knows the date.
December 3rd.
Yeah. And we have a lot of items, so I expect we will have this meeting. We'll let you know if it does get canceled. I do like to cancel the December meeting, but I'm not optimistic that will be happening, so, but we will certainly let you know. And then just a minor thing, item number 4, at your last meeting, we approved, the board approved cable casting agreement with agencies other than the member agencies that we record their meetings. And there's 4 of those entities. 3 of them signed their agreements, and we're moving forward with agreement as written. And in this case, Regional Transit requested an amendment to the agreement. It's a very minor amendment. They just wanted to change the date, and they wanted to change the date from September to June. It was a minor change that Harriet informed me that I had the ability to execute, that it didn't need to bring back to the board, so I'm just simply letting your board know that. So with that regional transit agreement, whether it's not September now, but it's June, every June they can re-up, and we don't have to go back to the board, and just that agreement will continue until either party decides not to continue with the agreement. So, and with that, that's all the items I had on staff status.
Well, thank you, Bob. And if there's no questions of Bob, that's a receive and file. And we have the next item, Karen.
Item number 6 is channel licensee reports.
Okay, it's starting to get to be our favorite time. So I invite Gary Martin to come down.
Hello, everyone. Gary Martin, Executive Director at Access Sacramento. Thank you for the opportunity to come forward and say a few words to you. To begin, though, what I'd like to do is perhaps share a short video of some of the things that we have been doing recently on Access Sacramento, programs that are not seen on any other channels in our area. So let's go ahead and show that video, and while that happens, I'm going to pass around a little pamphlet that you can look at when we get out of the video. So we'll take a look.
Roll 'em.
Can we turn the volume down? We're having a hearing next week.
So the important part of what you've just seen is that all of that content comes because of equipment, obviously, that you've provided to us, and then the work of our community members and staff who help make all of those things happen. Two events that I want to mention in specific is Hometown TV. Recently, we just videotaped the Papa Election Forum this last weekend. It will air on our channels very, very soon. We've been at the Pause for Peace event at the Multicultural Center, and just mentioning Game of the Week briefly, a couple weekends ago on a Friday, we did the De La Salle versus Folsom football game on our channel. De La Salle ranked 22nd in the nation, Folsom ranked 25th. They were 5 and 6 in the state of California, and our stream, we don't get ratings, unlike our friends at Channel 6, but we don't get ratings, but I will tell you that our stream had 4,236 live views of that football game, and that is a phenomenal number for anything that typically would happen out of this region. So we're really delighted.
Who won on that, Gary?
Say again, Steve?
Who won?
Who won? De La Salle. I think it was like 27-14 or something like that. I'm making up that score, but that's 35-14. There we go, from our Folsom. So the last piece that. Yeah, they haven't lost to a Northern California team in like 18 years, and now it's like the third time that Folsom has lost to them, a couple times in playoffs, once in Concord, and then now here in Folsom. But yeah, a great football game and a great event to obviously have on Access Sacramento. The other piece that I'll just mention is that we are in the throes of launching our 20th annual place called Sacramento Film Festival. I didn't give anybody notice, but I'm going to set this here on the chance that that'll end up on the screen. 20th annual, a place called Sacramento, now 197 films that will have been created for this particular event. It's artistic on that slant for that graphic. This event actually begins for the first time a 3-day festival tonight. We are doing an inaugural Hall of Fame event where we're bringing in 3 filmmakers that were a part of a place called Sacramento historically. We're launching several short films from the My Neighborhood project. So youth filmmakers can get their videos up on the big screen as well at the Crest. So Hall of Fame, and then some retrospective films that have previously been a part of a place called Sacramento. That's all tonight, 7 o'clock at the Crest Theater. Tomorrow we're back at the Coloma Community Center for a Hollywood Connection panel. We have Tim Russ from Star Trek, director, actor, who's a part of that panel. We also have Galen Howard, who's a local performer out of Davis, making it big in Hollywood right now. You'll see him in the latest Justin Timberlake video. And then also Jenny Church Cooper, who's a manager, a talent manager for a variety of folks in Hollywood, including from Patriot Act with Hassan Minaj. So some big-time folks who are going to be at the Coloma tomorrow to help us out with showcasing how film in our area is making it down to Hollywood as well. And then on Saturday is the red carpet world premiere of 10 original stories all about a place called Sacramento, our 20th year. 10 very diverse stories about content that, again, is not seen anywhere else. And we're proud to bring that into the community over the next couple of days. I am available for questions, but thank you again for your support of all the things that we do. We're having a good year, and I appreciate everything that you folks do to make that possible for us in making a difference, one voice at a time.
Gary, I can't make it. You and I communicated a little bit, but went last year, and I think Sarah was there too. And it was very, very impressive. And I've been a few different times, but last year was very impressive. And I'm assuming being the 20th, it won't be a disappointment. But unfortunately, I had other commitments and won't be able to make it. But wish you all the success on that and keep.
Thank you very much, Steve. We have several fantastic films, including one that I'll mention that is a docudrama of sorts. Normally, it's just straight dramatic narrative kinds of stories. In this instance, it's a story about the city of Sacramento, the Sacramento Unified City School District, which in the 70s renamed a school, changing it away from Charles Gady and moving it to the Rosa Parks School. Mm-hmm. And that story is told in dramatic form as one of the films that's a part of this festival. It's gotten a lot of media attention, and that's just one of the things that really showcases stories that otherwise would never make it to the big screen and are important things that we need to share with our community. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Thanks, Gary. Any questions for Gary? All right. Thank you, Gary.
Thank you very much, everyone.
So, David, come on down.
Good afternoon. David Lowe, President and General Manager with KVIE. I am not going to show you any video, because if I did, it would be all 16 hours of Ken Burns country music, and there would be no bathroom breaks. But that actually was a huge part of our September schedule, and locally and nationally, it was the top rated that we're going to have all year. And actually, it was the highest rated series we've had since Ken Burns, the Vietnam War. So whenever Ken has a program, people are watching it. So we're delighted that it played in Sacramento, California, and not just Nashville, Tennessee, because it's not just country music, it's the country's music. And it was a look at the history of America through the lens of that music. If for some reason you didn't see it, we will air it again, but you can also watch it on the free PBS Video app on your tablet, your phone, or your television. Locally, we launched 2 new series. One's called KVIE, it's Sunday Stories at 7:30 a.m. on Sundays. So as you start your Sunday morning, you can watch an hour of locally produced stories. And then we also have a new limited series from Rob Stewart called The Journey. And our very first episode featured Susan Savage, who owns the River Cats right across the river. Our next story will be on Congresswoman Matsui, and it's a nice 30-minute interview. Also this week is our 38th annual KVIE art auction. And even if you're not able to bid, you can tune in and see a lot of live television and even get some art education. And for 3 days, it is the largest gallery in the region, and it's all regional artists. Happy to answer any questions, but thank you as always for your support.
Well, thank you, David. Any questions for David? All right.
Thank you.
Perfect. We have next item, Karen.
Item number 7 is state franchisee reports,
I don't have anybody signed up from AT&T, Comcast, or Consolidated. So looks like we'll move on to the next item.
which is public comments.
Public comment? There's no one signed up to speak. Is there anybody in the audience that wanted to speak? Since I see no one, we'll open and close public comment, and we'll adjourn the meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.